Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be watching and reacting to SCP-173, the sculpture, the revised entry version, when it duplicates. Remember, go subscribe to this person right here, and also if you can, subscribe to my channel. Be very much appreciated. So let's start the video.
Good day everyone and welcome back to SCP Illustrated, entry log 82. Today we're going to be looking at the revised version of the SCP-173 file. Again, this is not the official version, this is the revised version. It was written some time ago, but it wasn't actually published as the proper one. However, it's got a really interesting little story to it, so I thought I'd bring it to you. So, this is SCP-173, also known as the Sculpture. Please note this is a Euclid class SCP, and this video does contain scenes of violence. The following data release has been authorised by the following council members. Documented item 17327. News broadcast on the date the 20th. And in other news, the government has pledged the support of Her Majesty's Royal Navy and Air Force to patrol the coastlines of former North and South America. They will be joining forces with 8 other countries, including China, Japan, Russia and France. It comes after the American Navy requested more support to monitor the coastlines for any surviving stonemen. The government has released a short statement ahead of a public release saying today we will join forces with our worldwide counterparts and put aside our past differences to ensure that our citizens and our children do not suffer the same fate as the people of North and South.
So why are they actually doing that? It's because do you see? If you don't know what SCP-173 is, it is wait, we'll go over here. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173 no fewer than. So it's basically Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. It's constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is extremely animate and extremely hostile. I got them messed up, but oh well. The object cannot move within a direct line of sight, so yeah, it's Weeping Angel. Right, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's SCP-173, but it's duplicated itself because whenever Foundations put normally -27, it's either a different version of itself or a different copy. So
South America. Description. Moved to Site 19 in 1993, the origin is as of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with SCP-173. Personnel assigned to enter the container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. The object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. This is considered normal, and any change in this behaviour should be reported to the acting HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis. Special containment procedures. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter.
oh, this isn't the original design, but I prefer this design over the original. Looks a lot creepier.
At any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Addendum 1. On the SCP-173 appeared to multiply, producing 2 identical copies. 2 D-Class personnel were killed, and it is unknown how this process occurred.
173 is
Each
reclassed
instance
as
of
gear.
SCP-173, now labelled SCP-173-1 and -2, are to be moved to individual cells, each following original containment procedures. Shortly after this,
So is SCP remaking itself with the feces and blood that just appears randomly? Is that why they have to clean it every so often?
a second multiplication event occurred. SCP-173-1 through -4 are to be each contained as per original containment procedures, and SCP-173 has been reclassed as Keter. Addendum 2. Security breach occurred on the Assuming a simple geometric progression, at least 61 copies of SCP-173 are as of now unaccounted for. It is unknown how they replicated so fast, or how they replicate at all. Video evidence of the containment breach shows multiple instances of SCP-173 working in unison across multiple cells to achieve the breach. Most of the instances still in captivity appear to have formed a rear guard, blocking Foundation agents from pursuing other instances. It is theorized that SCP-173 has a hive intelligence, where intelligence scales with the number of copies nearby. Revised Special Containment Procedures. All copies of SCP-173 are to be contained in form-fitting metal containers.
How would they even reach the moon? If they have the ability, to move when they're not looked at, how would they even be transported to the moon? Is there an SCP that can do that? It doesn't tell how it can be transported to the moon though, so
and
that's
sent
kind of
using
confusing.
SCP to the now abandoned Foundation facility on the moon. They are to be fitted with tracking collars that will detect if any of them leave the moon. Addendum 3. SCP-173 has caused a breach of secrecy for the...
How would they even leave the moon? And these drawings are really good, I have to admit. You can see buildings in the background.
The SCP Foundation. Estimates at this time are roughly 500,000 civilian deaths across North America in the last 48 hours due to SCP-173, and hundreds of thousands of sightings and pieces of video evidence. Major television news programs have obtained video of SCP-173 and are providing instructions for avoiding instant death. Dr. Phillips, deceased. Dr. Matthews, deceased. Dr. Clef, deceased. Dr. Gears, deceased. Dr. Kondraki, deceased. Dr. Bright is in charge.
Yeah, Dr. Bright, if you don't know who Dr. Bright is, he's the one with the amulet that makes him never die. So if anyone wears the amulet, he'll be in their body. It was in the last video and all that I did. Watching another one of SCP Illustrated. Remember to subscribe to his channel anyway. But yeah.
Charge of the containment. Addendum 4. SCP-173 has besieged and destroyed 4 Foundation facilities near simultaneously in the last 24 hours.
That's a lot of facilities.
Each instance shows the characteristic strength exhibited in the original, and thousands working in unison are capable of ripping open concrete bunkers and compromising foot-thick steel doors. Research is ongoing to find a way to combat this threat. Addendum 4. Additional files available. Addendum 4 Alpha. Administrator clearance accepted. Martial law has been declared in North America. Ground forces are attempting to contain SCP-173 specimens with very little success.
Of course you wouldn't succeed. There's probably around 1 million already of them. If you went after one, 100 more would come after you. It's impossible to contain them all. You may as well just nuke the entire world.
Explosive munitions and airstrikes are most effective at this time. However, SCP-173 specimens are resilient and continuing to multiply. Gunships are currently destroying entire towns and cities in an attempt to slow down the SCP-173 advance. Addendum 4 Bravo. Administrator clearance accepted. Ground forces have been rendered completely ineffective at this time. SCP-173
How many SCP-173s did it take to take down an entire tank? They made it look like a floppy pancake.
specimens are working in large groups to overrun
I know
fortified positions.
I know it's drawn, but if this is what the damage would look like if all those SCPs attacked the tank, that is pretty insane, you know.
SCP-173 specimens will now group together to pull armoured vehicles apart and will use sewer systems and underground train lines to avoid bomb runs. Furthermore, SCP-173 sightings have been confirmed in South America. Civilian evacuations are being impeded by SCP-173 specimens. Addendum 4 Charlie. Administrator clearance accepted.
Right.
Number of survivors in North and South America estimated at less than 1,000 in total. The military is running low on explosive munitions, and all mainland-based factories have been overrun. Furthermore, all Foundation installations have also been overrun.
Oh yeah, this is our first XK class. Why didn't they just get everyone on cargo bobs, make them fly far away from the country, and then get the government to nuke it, and then go back over? I mean, there would probably be radiation, but oh well. Just just fly over the sea for a bit, you know, flying on oil rig. SCP-173 probably couldn't reach there, and then when then just nuke everywhere, you know, get the most important people in the world and the most important items in the world, go to an oil rig, blow up the entire world, wait 1,000 years, go back to land. No SCP-173s.
Except for Site 12. Site 12 is currently being evacuated. Following this, all North and South America-based facilities will have their on-site nuclear devices remotely detonated. An XK-class end-of-the-world scenario has been declared by the O5 Council. Personal log of Dr. Bright.
I've been killed 37 times in the last week. They can smell me somehow, regardless of what body I'm in. The majority decision of the remaining O5s is that this is an XK, and they're going to deal with the problem. Or the Russians are.
No one's going to deal with that problem, you know. I don't think it's possible to deal with that many SCP-173s.
They're evacuating this base, which means there won't be a single Foundation scientist anywhere in the New World.
It's like a more aggressive Weeping Angel from Doctor Who.
They say they're going to try to evacuate the surviving civilians, but I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
There can't be more than a couple of hundred people in all of North America left. The only good news is that about 150 of the bastards teamed up and ripped 682 apart. That brought a smile to my face.
Revised Special Containment Procedures. Containment Zone X-Ray 1, formerly North and South America, is to be denied access. Following saturation nuclear bombing...
Alright, finally they're getting to the nukes. We know when they were going to do it.
On the number of SCP-173 instances has been reduced. All available Foundation resources are to be redirected to monitoring the ocean to ensure the integrity of Containment Zone X-Ray 1. Foundation adjuncts from the National Navies are to perform around-the-clock patrols and sonar sweeps. Detected instances are to be contained and removed to SCP for transport to the Lunar Containment Site.
Where's the Lunar Containment Site? I might have to search that up after.
Addendum 5. Verified sighting of SCP-173 in Wales.
So pretty much everywhere that had SCP-173 in it got nuked.
Was the United Kingdom. Nuclear bombardment authorized and executed.
These
no
are some
survivors.
These are some really good drawings. By the way. Yeah, that's the end of the video. It is a short one. if you haven't already, go subscribe to SCP Illustrated. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to me right here. Very much appreciated. That will be the end of this video. Sorry for the short one. Have a good day. Goodbye.